So he's there, he sees them. And so now guess what time it is? It's test time.
Yeah.
We are Saints in the South, your source for gospel growth and good times. All right, welcome everyone. Episode 112.
112.
112. We're still here.
112.
Are you still there? We're still here.
It's funny. So on our YouTube channel, right? So you get to see the subscribers. So every once in a while, you'll see, that number slowly creeps up. Then every once in a while it drops back down, one or two. They go back more and then a little bit later, a couple more unsubscribe and so forth.
I think Marcus hurts some feelings every now and then.
Sometimes
he just says whatever, I think.
Hey, that's what we need in this world. Genesis chapters 42 through 50. The title is God Meant It Unto Good.
That's kind of a mouthful. Say it fast.
It is. That's why
say
I said
it fast, Marcus.
Well, God likes mint. God meant it unto good. Spearmint. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go.
Yep. So we are continuing the story of Joseph. And it's quite the
saga.
Quite the drama.
Sold into slavery by his brothers.
Yep.
Brothers like, man, I don't
Jealous. Forget you.
Yeah, forget you. And
we're jealous of you.
And he was a dreamer, I say a dreamer. He was able to interpret dreams.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
And now he's second in charge, right? Behind the pharaoh.
Behind the pharaoh. He is the man with a plan.
Man with a plan, got 7 years of just greatness and 7 years of famine that he's been put in charge of
That's right. So with you saying that, and I know during the Book of Mormon study, we said that, man, it just felt like a lot of this stuff is correlating with today, right? Same thing with the Doctrine and Covenants.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff, and then with the Bible, I'm really starting to feel that now, because you think about being prepared, food storage,
that's right,
setting savings aside, with inflation going crazy, gas prices going crazy, and there's a wars and rumors of wars, so there's a ton of uncertainty right now, and what the next few months or years will hold. So this something right here may be something that we really need to pay attention to.
Get your food up.
Yeah, liken it to our day.
That's right.
Like Nephi taught. For sure. I actually thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember thinking this in the Book of Mormon time and Doctrine and Covenants and now with this. So it's definitely a reminder, liking it to us.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So Joseph, it ends, or last week ended with basically him preparing, right?
That's right.
And now we see where Jacob or Israel, I keep going back and forth whether to call him Israel or Jacob, but he's officially Israel now, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's his name. Yeah.
But actually, I know that in the scriptures here, he's actually he's in the chat headings and stuff, he's still referred to as Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob, Daddy Jacob.
That's right.
Father Jacob. So yeah, he
Israel was like a title, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's his name, title, whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
Had a purpose.
But they're starting to experience the famine.
Yeah.
And they are needing some grain, some food. And so Jacob sends his sons to Egypt because they've heard that's where the food is.
Right.
And so he sends them there to buy some food. And
all but baby Benjamin. All but baby Benjamin.
Not gonna let Benjamin go.
That's
right. He's the second son of Rachel, right?
Yeah.
His favorite wife, Rachel, and he doesn't want of course, since Joseph is now gone and dead, according to what he knows,
right?
Benjamin's his favorite now.
That's right.
Baby Benjamin's right there, helping old Daddy Jacob out, and this. So
he didn't want him to go. He's like, no, y'all go. Last time I sent my favorite son with you guys, he didn't come back. So you're going without him. That's basically what.
So they get there, and what happens? Joseph recognizes them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been how many years?
22.
Yeah, 22 years.
I think is what I read.
22 years. And
that's as long as I've been married. So it's a long time.
yeah, and you definitely and looks, I would say you probably look different now, right?
Yeah. I don't yeah.
Nah.
I couldn't grow a beard 22 years ago. No, yeah, I mean, it's,
I mean, we just
it's weird because, I don't think that it was so much that but you got to think this 22 years is a little different. Joseph was young. He was
teenage. It was teenage years. That's what we were talking about.
Who knows? Yeah, super young. So
could have been 17
from there
to
22 years up is different than say when I was 21 to now.
That's right.
Of course you look the same.
And the way they dressed and
of course. And he's in Egypt now, the way they do things and the eyeliner that they wear and stuff that you see in the Egyptian thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Mummy, but
it's actually pretty good. The Brendan Fraser ones, those are the greatest ones. All right. Not the Tom Cruise
so
one.
time goes on and Joseph sees his brothers.
Yeah, he sees them, he recognizes them, they don't recognize him.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's basically what we're getting to. So here's what's going on. I mean, it's in a nutshell, it's this. Joseph now, he goes, I know who these people are, right? I know these guys. I'm sure he's thought about them for a long time. So he's there, he sees them. And so now guess what time it is? It's test time.
Yeah.
I want to see if these guys really even care what they did to me, So he doesn't reveal himself right away. Why? What would have happened if he revealed himself right away and he wanted to find out, do y'all even feel sorry for what you did? What do you think they're going to say? Oh yeah, man, my bad. Totally. Oh man, of course. You know what I'm saying? Of course they'll say that. Here's the guy that's in charge that can have them killed any second if he wanted to. And of course he's like, but he's going to test them in a way. He wants to find out, are these guys truly sorry for what they did? Have they repented? Have they changed? Right. And so the first test, we read about is basically they come up to get food and he accuses them of being spies just off the cuff. He's like, let's try that. He just says, I'm going to accuse them of being spies, makes it up, And so, of course, they're all like, what? No, we're actually, our father, this and that. We're the sons, blah, blah, blah. We're from Canaan and all these kind of things. He said, oh, okay, well, then prove it, because they talk about all their brothers. And they even mention Joe, like he's not with us anymore. Joseph, he's not with us anymore. But they don't say why or anything. But he says, but we have a younger brother too that's back home with our father. And so what does Joseph say? He says, go back and get your younger brother and bring him here so that you can prove to me that you're not spies. Right. So you start to think, why is he doing it? Why is he playing games? Just because he wants revenge, because he wants to be mean? He's wanting to find out if these guys are sincere and that they truly feel remorse for what they did. He wants to know if it's on their mind. He wants to know if it's something that has made them feel bad. Bothered them. Right. He wants to know, like, this was, so he does. He sends them off and says, go back and get your brother. Well, what does he do? He keeps Simeon. He imprisons him. Well, here's the first test. First test is very similar to what happened to Joseph, right? Joseph was sold as a slave into Egypt by his brothers. Well, at this point, what do they find in their sacks whenever they get back home? They find their grain, but they also find their what?
Silver cup.
No, not this. That was the second.
Yeah.
The first time they find the money, Joseph put their money back in there.
Right.
So now this makes them think, have we sold Simeon? Being he gave our money back. Is that what we did? Is he keeping Simeon as a slave now to give us food? He wants them to start thinking these things and start going, wait, this has happened before. This is not good. We don't want to do this again.
He's playing mind games.
Or are they going to, so he wants to know, are y'all going to not really care about it? Because if they just left and never cared about it, never ever came back or whatever, then he would say, okay, they didn't care. They don't care about this brother either. They're the same old people. But of course, we do know they come back for the second test, which, I don't know if we got anything we want to say on the first test, anything other.
Oh, so you're talking about, his brothers, but at the same time, Joseph, this whole repentance process, Joseph needs it too.
Yeah.
So it's for him too, as much as it is for his brothers. He needs the time. He needs the
what's the word?
Closure.
He needs to know that this is truly over.
Yes.
Like this is something in our past, not something that continues
right.
to this day.
The repentance processing isn't a one-day event.
No,
It's
no, this was years.
Yeah, it takes time,
It
and
can,
it takes time with again, if we liken it to ourselves,
Yeah.
you know, it ain't
A lot
just
of
a
patience.
1 hour. Yeah, a lot of patience,
Yeah.
and it's a process.
Yes.
And you got to think about, again, yes, he's basically at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, he's up there.
metaphorically in Egypt.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
But he's been through some tough times, and I mean, can you imagine? I mean, being sold by your
own family, your own family.
you know, and that's so his, I mean, the mind thing, the
Yeah.
emotions, I'm sure that he has experienced has got to be, you know, tremendous.
Yeah, and 22 years of possibly it building up.
Let's be honest. So I try to get the answer of who exactly sold him to Egypt. You know, it doesn't mention Benjamin. Benjamin was pretty young at the time. So I don't know that Benjamin, I feel in my heart, he wasn't part of it.
Oh no, Benjamin was a baby.
Younger. He was
Yeah,
the youngest.
we don't know exactly how young though.
Yeah,
we don't know, you know, if he was out there with them hanging around or whatever, and he saw what happens. What I'm getting at, I'm not saying he participated, but he could have been there to see and then just kept his mouth shut, or the brothers told him to keep his mouth shut. I don't think so. So you got Benjamin, you got Jacob that don't know the truth, I would think, and the rest of the brothers I feel like do know the truth.
Right.
Yeah, they claim all Simeon, whatever.
Yeah, Simeon.
They claim he might have with, you know, ones who've really dug into it.
Yeah.
Claim he might have been the ringleader.
Yeah.
Who sold Joseph, but we don't know exactly.
Was he the oldest?
Well,
no, Reuben was the oldest.
Reuben was the
yeah,
oldest.
and Reuben's the reason why he didn't die.
Yeah.
He's the reason why.
Yeah.
And they sold him for
killing.
Yeah. So they sold him for 20 pieces of silver, which was kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'll just take that, you know.
Yeah. Well, that was the price of a slave.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they said, that was the price of a slave, was 20 pieces of silver at the time. That was one of the little historical facts I looked up, but because then I started thinking, wait a minute. So here's the question. So far, what we've discussed so far, how does it relate to Christ? What are the similarities? What are some things that y'all seen? I mean, one is what you just mentioned, that's sold.
Yeah. So
First of all, his brethren.
We mentioned several of those things last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So the brethren sold him. You know, Jesus Christ's brethren sold him out.
That's right.
Judas. You know, so 30 pieces of silver, 20 pieces of silver. I guess inflation. You know, once Jesus came, it was later. So yeah, a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
The one thing that I like though that was brought out, and I seen this on one of the videos, and I can't remember. Probably Book of Mormon Central, but one of the things that they highlighted was that one of the things was a similitude of the Savior, was that the first time that his brethren came to him, he didn't reveal himself as to who he was. They didn't recognize him. But the second time, he did eventually reveal himself. And you think of Christ, his first coming, when he first came, he didn't reveal himself to everyone. Not a lot of people knew who he was. But the second time he comes, everybody will know who he is. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. There's a lot. There's so many things in this, you know.
So they've gone back.
Yep.
And they
run out of food again.
They bring Benjamin back, right?
Yeah. That's the instructions to bring Benjamin.
Yeah, bring him back.
Right? And Jacob.
Yeah, they need more
part of it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, you have to.
And then they say, well, we've got to in order to get Simeon back.
Yeah.
And so I guess Jacob reluctantly, like, I guess we got to get Simeon back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
If that's
and so the second test begins. Joseph said, okay, you've passed that test. You've come back. You really do want your brother. You don't want to sell him into slavery as you did me. So you must be over that. But let me test you one more time. And so the second one is they have Benjamin there. What does Joseph do with Benjamin as he's there? What was some of the things that stood out as y'all may have read too? What were some of the things, you know, one of the things that stood out to me is he kept giving Benjamin extra stuff.
Yeah.
He kept giving him more food, more whatever, this and that.
This
and
is baby brother, you know?
Right.
Well, there's a reason. And I'm not getting this out of my own gleaning because I'm not that smart, but some of the things I've studied and all, but they said that Joseph wanted his older brother, ones that sold him, wanted them to realize and wanted to see if they were still jealous of a favorite. So Joseph was the favorite. And they were jealous of that because his father gave him more, gave him everything, gave him an awesome coat, all these things. And so now he's doing that to Benjamin. Here's the youngest. I'm going to give him extra. And I want to see how these guys are going to react. I want to see how Simeon and Judah and, Dan and all these,
Reuben.
how are they going to react to me? The favoritism shown towards Benjamin. He wants to see if there's jealousy there. And so, of course, we got the cup, they send him away. Well, he puts the silver cup into Benjamin's bag. Yep. And what does he do? He accuses Benjamin of stealing. So I'm going to imprison him. So he's trying to see if that jealousy is real or not, because now I'm going to throw your little brother in jail or in prison. And they could have easily said, well, we're sick of that cat too, because he gets favoritism. So we're going to leave. So that he's really testing his brother in here. He wants to see if his brethren are still capable of doing what they did to him now. He wants to know if they're truly penitent, if they have contrition, if they're completely feel remorseful about what they did. These are some intense tests. So the first time I used to read this Joseph story, I was thinking, okay, Joe, you getting them at, you getting at them. You got it. Here we go. But I see what's going on here now. He's really testing their repentance. And so it makes me think, are we tested in those ways? Absolutely. We can be tested in ways like that. We're here to be tested. We want to see if, we might be tempted with things that we used to have a struggle with, maybe overcome, but maybe something comes up. The Lord wants to see, are you stronger than that now? Are you better than that now? And it doesn't mean we have to be perfect, but
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we're here to get stronger and better. And you know all about this with your conditioning and things that you do physically. You can't, where your weaknesses are,
right?
Especially when you get ready for Murphy and all these things. Right. Murph. I always say Murphy.
Yeah, don't
I mess it up every time. It's Murph. When you get ready for Murph, you got to see where your weaknesses, what's required.
Right.
And so you work on those areas more, obviously, in your weakest point. So the Lord does that to us. And that's what he's doing to his brethren right here. Are you still jealous? Do you care about your brother, or all these things? He's testing them out, man.
And the brothers absolutely lose their mind and start freaking out.
Oh yeah,
because they say, if we go back to our father, without Benjamin,
especially Benjamin,
yeah, Simeon, we almost,
yeah.
And so who steps in?
Judah. And it's crazy that Judah was the one that said, hey, let's sell Joseph, and gave the money to get Joseph out of here. Now he's the one stepping up now saying,
was it Judah or Reuben?
It was Judah.
It was Judah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the similitude of the Judas.
Right, okay.
Judah.
I thought, okay.
For some reason I was thinking
Reuben.
One.
They said he was the ringleader.
They
actually really don't know.
Well, Judah was the one that gave the money to them, so we don't know how he had. I'm sure they collected it, but he was the one. It mentions his name in 40.
Yeah, because as I was,
it's in there.
Which one? I got to hold on.
I'll find it. I'll find it. Hold on.
That's good to know, because
it's in the line upon line video too.
Okay, here Judah offers himself in place of Benjamin. Here it is, 44.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So Judah does that, and he was the one, so it's him. He's like, hey, we're not doing this again. He's completely done with that old self. And so when Joseph sees that, that's when he reveals himself, and he's like, you guys truly are on top of it now.
And which one? And was it now wasn't it Judah that had the idea to kill?
I'd see that one. I'm always confused on. Someone had the idea to kill. They wanted to kill him.
Yeah, Reuben was the one that stepped in and said,
let's don't do that. Let's throw him in the pit. But then I think it was Judah that come up with the idea of, let's sell him into slavery, and then we can make some money. Why not make some profit off of it? If we're going to get rid of him, let's at least get something out of it, And so I think that's how that played out. Okay. So,
because I thought, if it was Judah, that'd be pretty awesome.
It was.
Let's
actually, from it'll be good to
wanting
find
to
that.
kill, or having the idea to kill him, to saying, hey, I'll offer myself up.
Let's see. Okay. In Genesis 37, going back to 37, this is where they all started. Of course, they're saying, let's slay him, all this kind of stuff. And it was Reuben that said, let us not kill him. In verse 21, Reuben said to them, shed no blood, but cast him in the pit. So they did. They took him, cast him in the pit. Now all of a sudden in verse 26, and Judah said to his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.
That was Judah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And let our hand not be upon him, for he's our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. So 20 pieces of silver.
Okay. All right. So we're not.
And Reuben actually come back to the pit and seen that he was gone. So they did this without Reuben. I guess Reuben wasn't there when they sold him, but Reuben's one that said throw him in the pit.
Right.
And I guess Reuben was going to go back for him.
Right.
I don't know. But
So it actually does kind of go hand in hand. Judah was the one that had the idea to sell him into slavery.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
So,
That's good enough.
Yes. And so now Judah is offering himself.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome.
Which shows he's
saying,
truly contrite. He's truly penitent. Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what Joseph, when that happened, that Joseph broke down.
Yes.
He's like, yes, I know. You guys are, there was no hard feelings. And look, Joseph Smith, right? Joseph Smith in Liberty Jail. I'm sorry, in Carthage. No, in Liberty Jail. Liberty Jail is when he done these things are for thy good, and all that, the letter. But obviously Joseph is a descendant of Joseph from Egypt. We learned that in the Book of Mormon. Actually, it's very interesting there. But I like the fact that Joseph of Egypt, he tells his brethren when they were like, we're so sorry, that we did this. And they, of course, repented to him and things. And this is what Joseph says to them. He says, now, therefore, be not grieved. This is chapter 45, verse 5. Now, therefore, be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve your life. This was for good.
Right.
It turned into good, right? Joseph could have easily just gave up and died and just, miserable, whatever, he got thrown in prison. He got all these things kept happening. Every time he tried to do good, things were happening to him. That's the thing I gleaned most from Joseph. And I almost, I put him at sort of the top of my list sometimes, Joseph of Egypt, as this great man, because he'd done everything right and everything wrong happened forever to him. It's like, but he just kept chugging along. And, obviously good things, all of a sudden it was the greatest things started happening, greatest inheritance and stuff. So,
yeah, I think this is one of the best teaching stories for children and us in general and everything. It's a really good family home even type story where you can really take this and apply it to our lives and know that, just because you're following the Lord, just because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, doesn't mean everything is going to line up perfectly and go according to what you think the plan is, what your plan is.
And Israel, Jacob, I mean, he's Israel.
Yeah.
But even at that, there's still family drama.
Yeah.
And even some great people I know in the church. I mean, there's drama, there's things that happen in families that, some might say, well, okay, that, they go to church, they're a great family, so they're not going to have any issues. Issues. Yeah. That,
right.
Waking them up for seminary. Oh, that's easy for that family because they got it together. Or, family prayer or family study, or they don't have those obstacles. No, I mean, there's even Israel himself, Jacob, were having family drama. I call it drama. I mean, brothers weren't getting along.
That's
it
was tough.
But you got to have faith that hopefully one day things will work out.
I think eternal perspective is the key. And this family had the greatest eternal perspective. They had to. Especially chapter 40, which is probably one of my favorite chapters of all this little thing we read, was chapter 45. But at 45:7, tell me this is an eternal perspective. I mean, this is what Joseph had all his life when he was in prison, doing whatever he did, suffering for no reason. Another similitude of the Savior, in prison for no reason. Joseph Smith also, there's a lot of things. But here it is in verse 7, chapter 45. He says, and God sent me before you. He's telling his brethren this. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth and to save your lives by great deliverance. And the first line in verse 8. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. That's an eternal perspective. That's taking your self-loathing and your self-pity and your, woe is me out of the situation and going, what great things has happened because of this? What things has the Lord allowed to come to pass because of this tragedy, this travesty or whatever of my brethren selling me. And I like the fact that when he's testing his brethren, he's not doing it so that he can say, ha, now y'all feel, I feel good that y'all feel bad. He just wanted them to be in the right place. He wanted his brethren to be repentant and to be close to the Lord, like as he has been the whole time. And when he found that out, that's when he broke down. He was like, okay.
Yeah. And and going back to what Andrew had mentioned earlier, so this is 22 years, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure that if all this would have happened within the first few years, he would have had a revengeful heart.
Yeah.
I'm sure his
needed that
ability to overcome the bitterness
You're
and
right.
everything that I'm sure he felt was needed as well, needing that time. And so I see a lot of leadership qualities here, just basically the wisdom of 22 years of going and experiencing what he's experienced. And now he's not taking a revengeful approach, but he's taking a teachable approach. Yeah. Trying to, like you said, Marcus, really trying to figure out where their heart is, because if you go out and just basically, if you on point suddenly ask somebody, are you sorry for selling your brother?
Yeah. Especially when you're in a position that you can do
that's
something
right,
to them. Yeah, you're definitely gonna be, oh yeah,
right.
Of course I am. Man.
That's right. Yeah.
You would never know the truth as he's found out now.
There's a lot of wisdom that I've never.
It's just
I'll be honestly,
man.
it's my first time really just
diving
into this story, and
for real.
And it's super
great. Just the story superficially is amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the way I always took it. You go, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing there and this, but man, when you dive and like getting down under it and you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. Like the little things, the little similitudes of the Savior and all this, but very, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Yeah. The only other thing that I had real quick about Joseph, about Jacob, Israel, is how he describes his life in chapter 47, verse 9. Because Jacob goes to after he comes back and he sees Joseph and they fell on, it's just a great reunion. He's missed his dad like crazy, respects his dad. The reason he's still strong in the gospel is because of his dad, probably the teachings and et cetera. But all that's happened. Now Joseph takes Jacob to the Pharaoh to meet the Pharaoh and all this. And it says, and Jacob said unto Pharaoh, Jacob actually blesses the Pharaoh and things like that, which I thought was very interesting. But he says this is what Jacob says about his life. He says, the days of the years of my pilgrimage. Pharaoh asked him how old he is. He says, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days and the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. So he's comparing his life to his father, Isaac, and his grandfather, Abraham. And he's saying, my years are fewer than theirs, which they are. I think it says Abraham lived to 175, Isaac lived to 180, and Jacob's 130 years to this point was small or few. And the word evil, when he says my years have been evil, actually means sorrowful or full of toil and trouble. Right. Think of everything Jacob's went through. He's had a rough life, dealing with the thing with Esau, wondering if his brother's going to ever kill him one day. Then going to his father-in-law, Laban. That was a rough patch, going through all that, all those years. And then finally, what was the other thing? The contentions in the land of his pilgrimage in the land of Canaan, the death of Rachel, the sorrow of the loss of his son, Joseph. So he's had a pretty good rough patch. Yeah. And he's telling the Pharaoh that. I thought it was just so cool how honest he was with him. He's like, I've had a time, and Joseph could say this. He could be like, I've had a time too, my little bit of time, but he ended out pretty good. But
it's pretty good. Pretty good Bible story right there.
Man,
it's old Bible. Yeah, old classic old Bible story.
The coat of many colors.
Yeah. Joseph forgave his brothers like Jesus, forgave all of us. I say all of us, the ones who crucified him, and
forgive them for they know not what they do.
Exactly. So forgiveness is a big it's a big lesson we can get from this.
So at the very end, I guess he does, Ephraim and Manasseh. Those are Joseph's two sons. Jacob blesses them. Basically, they become two of the tribes of Israel because Reuben lost his because of basically moral issues. And then, of course, Levi also was not given a portion because his lineage was the Levites, which was the Aaronic priesthood, bearers of the Aaronic priesthood, servants to the rest of the tribes through their priesthood service. So there was enough portion there because Joseph got a double portion to give to his two sons. So they're 12, still 12. 12 tribes. But that was sort of how it ended out, talking about Ephraim and Manasseh. And most of us are from Ephraim.
So I guess there was a so why is Joseph, why was Ephraim
blessed, that's interesting,
blessed with the
whole generations, man. Each generation's been like from Isaac, or how did it go? I don't forgot now. Isaac and Ishmael, it was given to Isaac, even though Ishmael was the oldest.
Right.
And then you go to Jacob and Esau. Esau was the oldest, but it was given to Jacob. And now you're down to obviously, the Reuben and Joseph thing was different because Reuben lost his because of, all that, what he did. He had some moral issues that he messed up on. And so it went to Joseph. So the youngest. Once again,
well, almost the youngest.
Yeah, almost the youngest, pretty much. But now you even got Ephraim and Manasseh, which we don't really know their backstory to this point. And we wonder, and even Joseph went to tell, hey, wait a minute, hold on, just say you got it backwards. But Jacob's like, no, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's just weird. Why? There's something to be learned there.
I know. Trying to think about me and my brother.
Yes.
What's up, Brian?
I know.
Brian rules over you. So it's very interesting.
So when you talking about we all come from Ephraim, you said
a lot of the lineage from where we are usually Ephraim
in North America, but I had a lot of companions from South America. That was Manasseh.
Yeah, Manasseh, Judah. I've seen Judah
down in South America, like down is here in North America a lot.
Yeah.
And so trivia question. Lehi is from Manasseh or Ephraim?
So Lehi is from Ephraim.
No,
from Joseph.
Manasseh
on that side.
And it's Zoram.
Yep.
Zoram is from Ephraim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember us talking about that. That is very interesting.
So we hear about Ephraim around here, but they're again, if you
they're
down,
brothers. But
if you're walking the streets of Bolivia, you might be going to church with people who's
Manasseh.
Yeah,
there was a lot of Manasseh.
I had a lot of companions because we talked about it. I was like, oh, really? And he showed me just in his patriarchal blessing.
Very interesting.
It said Manasseh.
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've seen some Judah, and I think I've heard of one Dan before.
And Levi.
Levi.
And Levi can happen too, right?
It can. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, remember we talked a little bit about that in the Doctrine and Covenants about how a true Levite is actually the presiding bishopric.
Yeah.
Even if he's not called,
yeah,
if he's from that lineage, he automatically has that right, or whatever. It's very strange. I don't know how they would work it today, but that's interesting stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff, man.
But yeah, man, the 12 tribes, it's so important to know it. I don't think it's so important that let me figure out who Dan is, and let me figure out. It's important to know their names, I think, and things, but it's a big deal today. We're to gather Israel. Listen to President Nelson, man. That's all he talks about. You know what I'm saying?
Even when he was an apostle, he talked about
it's talking about gathering Israel.
Since he's been prophet, man, gathering in this life and
big deal.
Temple work.
Big deal, man. We're to gather on both sides of the veil. I love when he said that. It really hit me. I was like, wait, what? And then it made me even think he's the prophet for the spirit world too. Really. Those people were, he's the guy. He's like, as far as like,
he's the prophet of the spirit world.
I'm just saying, he's prophet for all those that have left this earth to the spirit world. He's people that, he's the modern prophet. I'm sure the people in the spirit world knows what's going on here on earth today. They know the highlights and the events and things that are going on, and they watch things and see what's going on. But it's very interesting. Both sides of the veil's got to do work.
That's right. Gather Israel,
man. Gathering Israel. It's such a. We're in the last days. If people can't see that we're in the last days today, it's like you need to go wake them up, because we are in it. We're really in it. And I still stick to my guns, man. I say within 20 years. That's just me. I think Jesus will be back. He's about going to have to be.
So yeah.
I ain't trying to put him in a box or nothing. I'm just saying it just feels like he's going to have to be.
Down.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. Y'all got anything else?
There's so much stuff in here, but I mean, you could talk for hours about it. And there's so many good podcasts out there. I'm sure everybody's listening to those podcasts. And there's a lot of great stuff.
But
man.
do your own studying.
Yeah.
We're a supplement, not a substitute.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all righty.
We're your vitamin G. Vitamin gospel.
Vitamin G. All right, well, good stuff. Until next time, y'all keep on striving. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can do that through Instagram and Facebook at Saints in the South. A great place to join in the discussion would be our podcast group page on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter, Saints in the South, at 5 Southern Saints. And then, of course, on YouTube, hit the like button, notification bell. And if you're not already, be sure and subscribe. And then finally, you can check us out through our website, saintsinthesouth.com, where you can have access to all the podcast and YouTube videos. And then we would love for you to take the opportunity and leave us a review and rating. Thanks again for all of your support, and we will see you next time.